I felt I needed to provide some proper closure to that last video I made last night. It's about a little bit after 9 this morning, and I felt that I needed to clarify things a little bit more about the chakra system in relationship to the internal family system that I have created as my model for survival. So, obviously, as I had addressed, there are definitely root chakra problems that I'm working with, but I also feel that there are sacral chakra problems that I'm working with right now. So, now obviously, I know so much as to tell that the first 3 chakras, the root, the sacral, and the solar plexus, relate to the more earthly material needs that, we all share in varying qualities and degrees. And then, of course, the heart chakra is what I like to call that intersection where the lower chakras eventually cross over to the higher spiritual chakras. And because of that, that heart chakra is essentially that container that measures how well I give to others compassionately. And I feel, this is where, I feel the planet Jupiter applies very easily to the heart chakra. Especially, my Jupiter is in Pisces in my 7th house of relationships. So it makes perfect sense that, I already have a pretty healthy heart chakra, which I tend to use overabundantly. So I know that those lower 3 chakras have needed to be balanced. And then the throat, the third eye, and the crown chakra, those relate to more subjective states of awareness. Those psychosensory experiences that are things that need to be attained without the use of traditional religion, which is to say that, it's not easy to cultivate those experiences when trying to combine them with the more material needs of the lower chakras. But for purposes of spiritual evolution, if one is brave enough, if one can do without what Antero Ali would call the Church of Everlasting Life, then it means that I can actually become a sovereign spiritual being who's also able to live as a human too at the same time. So right now, beginning that period of ascension for me has also meant, having to begin a period of descension as a result too. So what I mean to say is that period of descension is the result of reconnecting with my survival needs as a means of, just, becoming present. I've always felt that I was a ghost of sorts, struggling to feel, and to really experience, just the pleasures of the flesh, pleasures of the human body. I've always known that I was very, very spiritual, that I never took on a capitalistic, materialistic perspective on life, and my morals obviously reflect that. So obviously, it's like, with my job right now, I work for $9 an hour, and it's part-time. I mean, I live in a low-income apartment, so it's not like I'm worried that I'm not going to make rent, but, you know, I still feel happy. I still feel full and sustained, you know, and because of that, you know, now of course it's the process of working on maintaining that sustainability too, which is why I also know that, you know, even at my age right now, being 32, I'm only now starting to realize the value of survival in the world around me. And so that's why, you know, I'm also working towards, you know, finding enjoyment and pleasure in being alive in the material world, which, you know, moves up to the sacral chakra. And I'm pretty sure now that both the root and the sacral chakra are somewhat connected in that, like, you know, the root relates to the bowel area, the sacral chakra relates to the abdominal area, so it relates to like digestion and ejection of, you know, any of that shadowy garbage material that surrounds the emotions. You know, I feel that the planet Mercury relates to the root chakra and Venus relates to the sacral chakra. I mean, correspondingly speaking, because Mercury would relate very much to the lower mind, understanding the world in a very, very logical and systematic manner. And I believe that this applies very much to me because of my Virgo rising, and of course the ascendant in my horoscope chart is the lens that I was speaking of earlier that determines my worldview through the use of my own horoscope. Now, of course, Venus applies very easily to the sacral chakra for me because just from experience, you know, I was actually having a chakra cleansing done once by this woman out in Delafield and discovered that I had a very over-enlarged sacral chakra. And I'll explain the reasons behind that in a future video. That chakra governs the area that I feel pleasure and a sense of the sensual, not the sexual, which I think would be the third chakra, solar plexus, which is governed by Mars. So for me, the sacral chakra is about finding enjoyment just in the things that are beautiful, the things that I attract, the things that turn me on, the things that really make me feel innocent and cultivate, you know, a habit to treasure those things so that they can be shared later on. And so I think that's also where the heart chakra is kind of that lower octave, because that's the point of giving, you know, sharing those treasures with my most loved ones. Now, of course, the third chakra is that bridge between 2 and 4 right there, because it governs action. And it governs, you know, since it is called the seat of the soul, after all, or the temple of the shining jewel, it means to me that, you know, I already know that whatever it is that I hold beautiful inside is ready to be shared with others. It's just the point of focus in which I hone my willpower that I'm also really, really working on too. So, and I have Mars in Capricorn after all, so in my 5th house, you know, which to me, since it relates to the child within me, what I consider to, you know, apply to that of what makes me feel playful and imaginative, you know. I can definitely see why that applies. Anyways, I just thought I'd tie a few loose ends up from that last video, and I don't want my camera to run out, before I finish this video. So, adios, and I will talk more later. I will upload more later. This is just an unfolding series of episodes of my life from varying different holistic perspectives. Okay, peace.